Well, good morning and welcome to Daily Connect. I'm Ross Duncan. I'm the vicar here at Holy Trinity in Hampton. Well, last week we completed our series of 40 days with Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and I hope you enjoyed the change in pace and also the input from Dietrich Bonhoeffer in terms of their commentaries. He was an amazing Christian leader living in a very difficult time, and he actually gave up his life for the Lord. He remained faithful for such a long period of time, and he's a great example to us all. Well, today we're looking at a change in direction again, and we're going to have a look at the prophets of the Bible. So I guess we should start with, what does it mean to be a prophet? There is such a variety of sources as to what defines this term prophet. But in general terms, it's a person who receives and communicates messages from God or some divine deity about some event or some action that is required. Some definitions indicate that they are speaking on behalf of God. Others indicate that it comes through divine inspiration. And I'm not going to get into a discussion about which is right and which is wrong, but I guess it's important to let you know that God communicates with his people in a variety of ways, and prophets are one way in which he does do this. It is something that appears throughout the Old Testament, and so we can trust that God is using this as a way of letting us know what he wants us to live in our lives. In a general search of the literature about prophets, you will probably find that in the Bible, most of them start with Moses as being the most notable example. The interesting thing is that when you go to the Old Testament, it doesn't necessarily agree with this stance. And if we are to believe the scriptures, Abraham is identified as the first prophet in the book Genesis. So we need to go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 20, verse 7, to find out how this came about. A bit of background to this particular passage. Abimelech, who is a king of Shur region in the Middle East there, has taken Sarah, Abraham's wife, who he thinks is Abraham's sister. Now, she is in fact Abraham's half-sister, and Abraham has told Abimelech that this was in fact the case. But Abimelech wants to make Sarah his wife, and of course this cannot happen. The Lord comes to Abimelech in a dream and tells him that he is going to destroy him because he has done this terrible, terrible thing. God tells Abimelech, return the man's wife, for he, that is Abraham, is a prophet, and he will pray for you and your family. Of course, God is telling Abimelech to do this so that in those prayers, Abimelech will be released from the curse that God has given to him. Here we have a clear indication from God himself that Abraham is able to intercede for Abimelech before God, because God has chosen him to be that intermediary, to be the one that will speak with God, therefore fulfilling the role of the prophet. This should be of no surprise to us, I suppose, because Abraham throughout the book of Genesis is in communication with God in various times and ways. And of course, it's seen that Abraham's line is the one through which God will work in bringing knowledge about himself to the world. God has chosen the line of Abraham to be the ones that will take this information to the world. Now, Abraham was not a king or a person of great standing, even though he did become a person of good standing within that particular community. But rather, he was a righteous man. He was a follower of God, and God chose him and blessed him for this. Now we will see over the coming weeks that not all of God's prophets were so willing, and they sometimes weren't that righteous in the things that they were doing. But God takes who he wants to be his messengers. He asks them to be the voice into their communities. All I can say really is that sometimes it was difficult to be a prophet in those times, as we will see in the future. God bless. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.